Hope fam, welcome back to another episode of Hope for Tomorrow. And we are always big on having community. And that is one thing we're trying to grow with this channel and with the podcast is to get people in the word, get people in community, and help out their communities. So who best could I have than Pastor Sam? He's our group's pastor over at the Ybor campus for Grace Family Church.
Whoop, 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 whoop. Ybor. The
He's
rooster
also
crows in
on-
the background. Come on.
I can drop that in there. You think I'm playing. But he also is on the Group Leaders Huddle podcast that we have. So that's in the link tree. Check in the description below, and we put it in there. And I got my buddy Zach Miller over here.
Yeah,
He's
Zach.
been wanting to come on for a show, and you know what? He led alongside of me with one of our groups called Freedom. And man, what a powerful season. And he did a great job this year. So I wanted to bring him on the show because he wants to talk about community. So this is
Right.
what we're going to do, man. So what's going on, guys? How we doing?
Good, man. Good. Living the dream.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Greatest day of my life. You already know my answer.
Awesome. So
Come on.
why would I need community?
Why would you need community?
Why would I need community?
That's the big why. And a lot of people don't see the reason as to why you need community because it's so much easier to get stuff done by yourself, right? You could get your everyday task done without people in the way, without having to have
It's
relationships.
that micromanaging
Yeah.
your life.
Or maybe you've had relationships in the past where they didn't go so well and you
Mm.
invested so much into them. Now that you feel if you invest time into that, it's just a waste. You're going to end up getting burnt. You're going to end up getting hurt. And that could go in many different relationships. That could go in personal relationships with a girlfriend or a boyfriend, or it can be with a friend, you know, that you've been hurt by. And so it keeps you focusing on task as opposed to relationship.
That's good, man. Zach, what was your life like before community?
Oh man, it was definitely a lot different than it is now for sure. Before, I just keep to myself. Like going through battles and stuff, like with college and then going into working. It's definitely a lot more difficult because like I felt like I had to carry all the weight on my own shoulders. But I got introduced to Grace, and then last year, about a year ago, I got into Freedom for the first time. So I mean that was one movement, and then it just led me into so many different relationships throughout the church here. And I mean, dude, I'm not as stressed as I was before. I got brothers who could pray for me no matter what happens. I mean, like you're in a group chat, and I have like at least 10 to 12 different group chats with different men who
Yeah.
either encouraging me or I'm helping lead up and encourage as well. So I mean, it's just been a great improvement in my life after getting into community here.
It's pretty cool, man. We're like real proud of Zach. We were just talking about it before we started the podcast, how proud we are of you.
Yeah,
I mean?
for
Like,
real, bro.
Man, you made some strides.
Yeah.
Some
Sprinting,
strides.
trying to one day at a time.
Yeah, well, there's seasons of sprinting, there's
Yeah.
seasons of jogging, there's seasons of walking.
Just grow one day at a time.
Yeah,
For
but the
the-
continuous growth is
For the
is
Freedom
awesome.
Encounter. So we do this thing with our church called the Freedom Encounter. So after this course of freedom, we all get together. It's like a little like convention sort of to culminate the season and bringing everyone together. And I went up to Zach for prayer. And he was kind of reluctant to join the prayer team, but we got to do things that are uncomfortable. So when he's praying over me, the next morning I got a vision of like a baby deer walking for the first time, like getting its strength and like, dude, not like to be like a funny thing about it, but like
Yeah.
seeing that he's going to be a buck one day, you know?
Yeah.
Sam, life for you, man, before community.
Yeah, man. Community was one of those things that it's tough. Originally I had a hard time getting into community. I was perfectly content with my life. I had a previous set of friends that were associated with my previous life, different choices that I was making. We all make previous choices, right? You gonna say something?
Yeah, I was going to say, like, we have to separate between godly community and the not so.
Yeah, well, and that's a season of influence
Yeah.
that you might enter, but it takes time. You need to go in your growth and understanding. I wasn't there at that time.
Yeah.
Where when I was transitioning out of one place, I didn't have another place to go into. And so when me and my wife got married, we said we wanted to have some community. We wanted to have a church. And so we committed to going to church. And then we heard about this thing called groups, had no idea what it was. And all of a sudden, we've got married couples that are praying for us as a newlywed couple and reaching out to us and checking up on us. And we're coming and asking them questions. Hey, have you guys ever faced something like this? Me and my wife being a blended family, we face some tough circumstances
Yeah.
coming into marriage of how do we co-parent and how do we do this with outside influence from the other parent and not let it infect in our relationship. And so having those tips and that community help to bring us comfort and clarity into our walk with each other.
That's really cool, man.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I know for me, so I church hopped before I found this church. So the first church, the community, like it was there, but it wasn't as organic. Like we were reading off of a book. It was like a meditation book. It was weird. So anyway, I was like, okay, yeah, let's get out of that. And like afterward, the group, they would sit and tailgate and have beers in the parking lot. And I'm a recovering alcoholic. I don't want to. Yeah. So we ended up finding another church, and like the next church we went to, every first Sunday or something, they had a lunch or a dinner, whatever. And that was the community there, but there wasn't like any groups or anything. And wasn't really until I came to Grace when they're like, there's this whole group thing, and I didn't know anything about it. And Pastor Will, he's just like, yo, let's do this. You want to hop in a group? You want to co-lead a group? And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
He took a lot of like talking into, but once I finally started to like get into the group atmosphere and talk to like-minded people, and you start to form those relationships, that's really like the best part about it.
Yeah. I'd love to talk because the community feel, I love the church and I love what we bring for community, but there's room for community with people. Like when we have relationships, and I learned this inside of the church, and you can easily have these same relationships outside of church
Yeah,
too.
that's the
It's
truth.
not all about the church walls. It's
Yeah.
not all about being confined in here. It's about being out there. And when I think about my friendships before, we were very surface level. We didn't tell each other any deep or dark or confide in each other about anything that was going on in our life because we were afraid of being judged. I was afraid of being judged.
Mhm.
I was afraid of what people might say, or maybe they would throw it back in my face later and make fun of me. You know what I mean? Because of whatever I was going through with a girlfriend at the time, or because of, or even when my mom passed, I didn't really have anybody to talk to.
Yeah.
I was 17 and trying to talk to
Mhm.
friends. At that time, I didn't
Yeah.
have nothing, and now there's a difference. And there was a statistic we talked about was men are more likely, specifically men, are more likely to commit suicide, taking their own life
Yeah.
without community, serious community. Because as we grow up, by the time we hit the age of 12, 13, we start being taught, or it starts being instilled in our community, in our circles, that it's not cool to share personal feelings. That if you have a personal relationship with another guy, it's seen as gay.
Mm-hmm.
You're homosexual, and that couldn't be farther from the truth.
Yeah. You're more effeminate.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're more effeminate. You can't be sensitive. And I think like the great thing about groups at our church, it's a good segue to get people outside of the walls. And that's really what I loved about it. The text groups,
Yeah.
meeting up and going bowling or going fishing,
Mhm.
it's a good segue to build those relationships. It's a solid foundation.
Yeah. And you don't gotta feel bad when certain people catch more fish than you.
Hmm. That's because I was being stubborn. Man. I was being stubborn. It's on video. Yo, this guy though,
Yeah.
literally every time he dropped the line
Was it fish?
was a fish.
Well, he's a pastor. What do
Two
you expect?
fish on one.
He's a pastor.
And I swear I saw a
Look.
fish on the tail of another fish coming.
Did you ever try to just throwing the line on the other side?
Yeah.
No, I was going for grouper.
Okay.
Everyone else was, and then Pastor T's like, man, you should just stop and throw some squid on that line. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I was being stubborn. I should listen to my pastor.
Yeah. Yeah. We listen to Jesus. He said, "Casting that off the right."
Yep.
Yeah. I'm watching Pastor T's line come up and smack me in the face with fish every time.
Yeah, but it's fun. You get to create those fun memories in community.
Yeah.
That's what's a good thing, and that's what we build ourselves upon here, specifically at Grace Family Church, is the community feel.
Mhm.
One of our values is to be in community.
Yeah.
And that's a strong value. That's what brought us to the size that we're at now with 7 churches and continuing to grow, because we all have that community feel and we continue to build upon that community. And so it doesn't stop at the walls of our church. It continues outward.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
the truth. Like, it's cliche when you guys say family's our middle name, but it's the truth.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's the truth.
Mm-hmm. And that's what led me to Ybor too, because we're so small. So
Yeah.
like I love it because everybody knows everybody,
Mm-hmm.
and then like the community here, like I'll take what I learned from like in Courageous or Freedom, and like how we lead people and like how we connect with people, and then like right now I'm establishing that in my workplace. So like I'm connecting with people, like I'm getting my man. He's close to coming. I've
Yeah.
offered it multiple times. He's like, I need to get back. I was like, yeah, man, slide through. I'll send him the invite.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's definitely helping me like reach those who are, like I said, outside the church walls. So it's not just confined in here.
Yeah.
Definitely, definitely.
That's like, I wish my friends lived down here, because
Yeah.
I have 3 friends right now that are just going through it up in Jersey, and it's like,
Yeah.
guys, like, this would be a great place for them to just vent that out.
Yeah. We talked about the human importance of it, of community, but there's also like the spiritual aspect. We're in the Bible. Even when Jesus was first leading his disciples, he's leading them together.
Mhm.
They're coming together and having to walk in line with each other. And they faced a number of amounts of squabbles with each other. Who's greatest? Who's least?
Yeah.
Different types of
Mhm.
scenarios where they started bickering back and forth. But they had to go through this in a community sense before they can be introduced to the Holy Spirit when Jesus Christ left. Right. And even Paul kind of falls in alignment there when he visits in Galatians 5, and he's writing to the church of Galatia. He's getting ready to tell them about how to walk in step with the Holy Spirit. But in order to walk in step with the Holy Spirit, he first starts off with how you walk in step with your brothers and sisters. And he says, serve one another humbly in love, for the
Do you ha-
entire law is fulfilled in keeping this one command: love your neighbor as yourself. If you bite and devour each other, watch out, or you will be destroyed by each other.
Mm.
And then he would go on to visit the Holy Spirit and how to walk in step with the Holy Spirit.
Guys, that was 5:14, right?
Yes, Galatians 5, 13 through 15 is where he touches on that.
And that's the truth, man. We're called to be with one another. And if we really call ourselves Christ followers, we need to be a part of that community, because we're all part of one body.
Yeah.
We are all part of one body. We're all part of one flesh.
Mm-hmm.
One member suffers, we all suffer.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the cool thing too about being in a group or in a church where everyone just loves on one another, because if, say, someone I know died close to me, I got these guys here to be like, yo, let's go. We're gonna pray. We're gonna see you through this.
No. Well, and immediately your family is our family.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and we're gonna welcome them that way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, we're gonna shake hands with pops. We're gonna hug mom. We're gonna welcome them all in the blessed way that we know how, because they're family immediately when they come through those doors.
I forget where I was listening to. Oh, it was a Satanist give his testimony. Like, this dude was in the Church of Satan and everything. And he said there's 3 people that loved him unconditionally, and they were Christians. Unconditionally loved this guy.
Yeah.
Like, no matter what he did or whatever.
Yeah.
And like, that's just like, people trash all they want. Like, my friends, they trash me all the time, but it's like, nah, man, I still love you, dude. I'm still gonna pray for you, and whatever happens. I'm always gonna be there and love on you, man.
Yeah.
And that's a part of the community aspect, is being there, loving one another.
Yeah. I want to encourage the listeners and those watching on video, is, for all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God.
Yeah.
Right. You might have experienced someone who said they weren't going to judge you, they weren't going to hurt you or harm you, and that has really changed your perception of what relationships look like? First off, I would challenge you to forgive that person as Christ did, you know, and sacrifice himself for the church. You know, we're called to that avenue of forgiveness. And at the same vein, don't let that stop you from the next person. You know, that's what keeps a lot of people from having relationships and trusting, is because of that one first hurt.
Yeah.
Somebody experienced
Yeah.
church hurt.
I was about to say church hurt.
You
That
know.
that's big.
Yeah.
That's big because someone could say something but not mean it a certain way,
Yeah,
and that could throw somebody off.
yeah,
Especially
Just-
if it's like their first time in a church setting.
I was
too.
about to say, especially babes in the faith.
yeah. Well, and I mean, I've been guilty of it, of accidentally speaking out of place.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
same.
And saying the wrong thing at the wrong time, and it does influence people. And beyond that, you know, now, all right, I gotta carry that cross and take it back to Jesus. Jesus, like, tell me, what did I do wrong? But then I have brothers around me that would give me advice, like, hey man, here's how you could have done that differently, or here's what you could have said. You know what I mean? That's the brotherhood, is we're willing, brotherhood and sisterhood, we're willing to learn how to communicate with each other, but also not be so offended that we wouldn't be willing to forgive our brother or sister
Yeah,
or help them in their next communication.
because that's just like, because even if someone, it's an accountability factor. Because
Yeah.
even if somebody, excuse me, even if somebody says something that's offensive,
Yeah,
we could take that, learn from it, and grow
yeah,
in it. You know,
yeah, yeah, and that's the part where the brotherhood is important. You know, it's not about offending someone or being offended so much as it is, man, we just want to protect you.
yeah,
We want to help you. You know what
Mhm.
I mean?
Yeah.
And but sometimes we say things the wrong way, and it comes off as, man, I just want to cut you, or I don't really care about you, or vice versa, where you're on the receiving end. That's what you're hearing when the person is really trying to communicate love.
hmm we're all fleshly, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. That's the thing too. We say things that we might not mean, but we can go and ask for forgiveness for that, or we hear things that we might not want to hear. We just gotta take everything with grace and love, man. What's
Yeah.
that? Sprinkle with the little bit of
Sprinkle
salt.
salt.
Yeah.
Little bit of
Yeah.
salt. Season your speech with salt.
No. Yeah. So, what do you guys think we should say to somebody who's not in a group right now or not in community? Like, how does that?
Oh man,
How do you
Uh,
encourage that person?
let go of that pride.
Yeah.
Let go of that ego. That
Mhm.
you don't need anybody. Whatever, man.
That used
Those
to
are
be
all
me.
softies.
That used to be me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same here. Oh, they're all softies. I don't even.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, what made you break that shell?
losing the pride, man.
Yeah.
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 Losing the pride.
Just I guess it was more of like wear and tear for me because like when my first group experience was at the Exchange, which is like our young adult group. I remember I had people ask me, "Hey, you want to join a group?" I'm like, "Nah, I don't need that. I don't need that.
Yeah.
I'm fine by myself. I don't need that." And then it was finally, you know, I mean, for all those who are encouraging people to go to a group, just stay consistent because like eventually I was like, fine. Like I'm tired of people asking me, fine. And then
Yeah.
once I joined, it just kind of progressively got, and I'm like, okay, yeah, this is good. This is how like, and then as soon as you join a group, you could see the change in your life
Yeah.
immediately. So that's what happened for me. And then I just want, I guess I wouldn't say the word greedy, but I just wanted more. Like I want to
Yeah.
be in more groups, have more connections with people in the church, so I
Yeah.
can grow more. And then that's what kind of blossomed to.
And isn't it like some people think like when we get in group and we go into these circles that we're sitting there in circles holding hands, singing kumbaya
That's
and
what I
like
thought.
doing some weird chants
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
got some crazy things happening.
when I first started. Yeah.
But it couldn't be farther from the truth, right?
Right. Yeah.
Like, because y'all talked about what we do. Like in conversation,
Just
we have
sitting
things
down
that
and hanging
happen.
out.
Yeah, but then going out, like Dave and Buster's.
Yeah, we did go to Dave and Buster's. I remember
Right,
that. That
going
was good.
bowling,
Mhm.
Topgolf.
Top golf, or even doing golf. Like we play
Oh,
golf
we did
together.
play golf. Yeah.
Missed my invite, guys.
Yeah.
Nah, just
You don't.
playing.
You know.
Fishing. Well, see,
I'm terrible
these-
at golf.
we couldn't be farther from normal people.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, but we just hang out and we get to have real conversation in addition to the hangout.
Mhm.
We're not just hanging out to
Well,
hang
think
out.
about it. Because what I used to do before I was saved, I would go to a bar
Yeah,
and confide in people there.
yeah.
You're just doing the same thing, just without the drinks.
Yeah,
And there's more lighting.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, and you actually have someone to talk to you on the other side of it.
Yeah.
You know, whereas if you're at the bar, kind of stayed there, right? And it never got addressed until you had
Why
your
is
next
this guy,
drink.
Yeah.
why is this guy talking to me?
Yeah. Yep. And if you woke up in the back alley with a black eye, you knew, like, all
Yeah.
right, I didn't say something right.
Why does my head hurt?
Yeah. Oh man.
I was gonna say something.
Well, while you think about it, you know, since you're getting famous with your podcast here, and hope
Nah,
for tomorrow,
nah.
like I want
We're-
to shout you out, Frank.
We're
You've been
humble,
doing
man.
awesome.
We're humble.
Yeah, but it's great things that are happening.
Nah,
Great
this-
things that
this
are
guy-
happening. He's
this
a
guy
So
humble
this is-
man.
This
This-
guy was my first group experience. He was in my first group experience.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. For freedom, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
And I was like, I walked in, I was like, okay, he's young, cool. And then I walked in, I was like, oh, this is gonna be, I'm gonna stick with that guy.
Yeah.
So that's what I was going to talk about. Me getting into groups, like Pastor Will was just like, "Hey man, you wanna co-lead a group?" And I'm like, "No," because I wasn't even in a group before in my life, and he saw something in me, man. And my wife Caitlin, she's like, "You used to have so many chains. You could help someone else that comes into that table." And you can help that person get through whatever they're getting through because you've been there. And I was like, dang, okay. And like, maybe that's you. That's who I want to speak to right now, is that person who thinks they can't open up into a group, that they can't help somebody else. Everyone's got a testimony.
Yeah.
And RV Brown, guys, check him out. He said, your testimony is everything.
Mhm.
Your testimony is everything.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Christ said we were going to do even greater things than he did when he walked this earth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And our testimony is a big piece of that.
Yep.
And you think about the lives that have been touched since Jesus went into heaven, ascended into the heavens. Man, that's crazy.
It's beautiful, bro.
Yeah.
Right?
It's beautiful.
Yeah. Amazing, man.
But hey, man, guys, thank you so much for coming along. And
Yeah. Dude,
trying
can
to
we
get this guy?
can we do shout outs? Can we do shout outs? Because this
shout-outs,
is
why
like to
not?
the world, right?
Yeah, do
I gotta shout out my beautiful wife, Jackie Linda, my boys, my 4 boys, Jaden, Sammy, Jovan, Sebastian. I love you guys. Come on, we gotta shout out our people.
You have a whole clan that
Oh,
comes. to
don't-
the
yeah,
church,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
Shout them out, bro.
It'll be the whole army, y'all. Community.
Who we shouting out?
who's
man?
shouting out?
Shout
All
out.
right, let's see. I don't. I'll send it to my friends. I got my guys, Kevin and Connor over at the Exchange. They're my first group leaders. Shout out to them. Shout out to my mom. Hopefully you're watching this.
What?
Shout out to my
Mama
mom.
Dukes.
Mom, he wants to give you a hug still.
Yeah, well, we'll start with a handshake.
Handshake,
A handshake.
handshake, And then everybody else. I mean, yeah, I just got nothing special. No one's really special. I'm just going through life. I mean, you guys are here. Terry,
Yeah.
Mark,
Yeah.
Joel, everybody in the Courageous group. Got a lot of people. Too many to shout out.
Tom, Hiko, Zach,
Yeah.
Zach,
All
CJ.
these guys.
I'm here.
Kevin.
Kevin.
Anybody that we forgot, please don't
Yeah.
be offended.
Yeah.
We're
Hey,
just, hey, we love you all.
We do. And no, seriously, guys, thanks for coming on. And it's not going to be the last time we're going to have you guys on.
Yeah.
You're always welcome. Hey, guys, click, subscribe, smash the comments down below. Let us know what you think of this episode. Hit the notification bell. If you're listening on the podcast, leave a 5-star review if you haven't already. You can even type me a review. Guys, we love praying over people over at Hope for Tomorrow. So if you have a prayer request, put it in the comments below. Or you can email hopefortomorrowfl@gmail.com. And we'll pray over that for you. Guys, thanks again. Keep looking up. God bless.